dude.
Hey, dude.
How you doing?
Good. Oh, Nana, what's your name?
My name is Erin. Oh my god. Fuck
Ew.
my life.
What's your name? Just say your name. Regular.
It's Erin. Oh,
Okay.
sorry. It's Erin.
I'm Nicole.
Hi, I'm Erin. My name is Erin.
Okay.
Hello. Well, that's cool for
My name
anybody who's
Misty Peppers.
Peppers. Nobody knows what that is
Nope.
unless they're like major SNL fans.
Well, maybe we'll find some major SNL fans.
Maybe.
I'm Nicole. This is Dude That's
Yeah.
Fucked Up.
Welcome, people.
Welcome.
If you're just listening for the first time, so sorry. That's not. We're pretty, professional usually.
We're real buttoned up. Emphasis on butt.
Meh, meh, meh. We're also 15-year-old boys trapped in the body of like 30-something-year-old women. It's cool.
How does that thing? It's like bow, 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 bow. What's like that? It's like the negative sound. Like I don't know.
From Price is Right?
Yeah.
Oh.
Emphasis on
I get it.
butt.
God damn it. I want to find that sound effect so bad.
While you're looking up that sound effect, I want to give a shout out to the Facebook group. Our closed Facebook group is the chillest, coolest place ever. I spend far too much time hanging out in there.
It's so fun. Oh my god. It's really silly.
I wasted probably like 5 hours of my life this week. Do you want me to make the joke again?
Wait, hold on. Let me do it again. Oh, shit.
Do it again.
Oh, sorry.
You should keep that on
That's
it.
the sound you're trying to make.
You should keep that on hand today.
Okay.
I don't know. Use
maybe.
it sparingly, but
Uh-huh. I need like a mixing board for sound effects, I think.
you do.
Yeah.
I'm already having so much fun.
Me too. Sorry it took me so long to get back. We were having some technical difficulties before we started, and I had to take my shorts off because they were like real coochie cutters, and so I put literal hammer pants on. Like they're like yoga, like they're they're like tight at the bottom and like tight at the top, but they're like
Genie pants.
floofy.
Like
genie pants.
Oh, love it.
I call them like my yoga hammer pants.
Oh, that's awesome. Are they like patterned or just regular, like solid?
They have some like kind of henna pattern on them, I guess.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I bought them like when I had surgery and like couldn't wear real pants.
And now you don't have to wear real
And
pants
had to
if you
have-
don't want.
I don't have to do anything.
No.
Well, I was wearing coochie cutters earlier, but like the pants that I'm wearing now, I'm wearing because when I bought them, I had to have a catheter.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, I need to like have this catheter attached to my leg, so it needed to be loose in the leg. So that's fun.
And now do you just like strap treats to your upper thigh or like other things that you might need when you're out and about and carrying a small purse?
Yeah, exactly. Like I strap like a knife to my inner thigh.
Or like a Rice Krispie treat or
whatever.
Oh,
Yes.
a bag of wine. Like whatever you need when you're out and
That's
about.
the thing. Instead of a catheter, I could put I actually might still have some catheter supplies. I could just fill it up with wine.
Yeah.
And have it like as a go bag.
That's
of
just
wine.
smart.
I think so.
But not white wine, red wine. Because you don't want that shit to be hot.
True.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, but what if somebody thinks I'm like peeing blood or something? I don't know.
Ugh.
I don't know. Well, this has gone on a real tangent.
You know what? We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll do some field tests.
Mm-hmm.
Before we get into it, I just want to make an amendment to some shit I brought up last week, which was fine. Nothing was incorrect, I don't think. Or at least no one said anything so far. But I did bring up this guy,
It was a source that you had.
It was a source.
Right?
Okay. Yeah. Listen, I think everyone's pretty clear on the fact that our research is like
internet based.
Right. I watch a lot of YouTube videos and documentaries, and yes, a lot of these sources are like legit, like National Geographic or like whatever. But also, I just find things sometimes that are interesting and on topic, and I'll watch that and I'll reference that. So there was a video last week that I mentioned from Stefan Molyneux or Molyneux or something. He's a dude in Canada, and it was him on his like YouTube show arguing with a guy that had called in over the phone who was a flat earther. I stand by my statement in that I agree with Stefan on this topic. However, Aaron brought to my attention via a basic Wikipedia article that I probably should have looked up when I was doing this, that this guy is like a pro-Trump, anti-feminist garbage human. And I probably shouldn't have plugged him, but
it's okay. You know what? This is what'll bring us together.
Yeah.
I think is that we can disagree on a variety of topics, like politically, but we all are united in the fact that flat earthers are fucking idiots. Okay?
Maybe. I don't know.
Maybe.
He's so
I don't know.
Anti-feminism.
That's true.
Awkward.
But your whole point was, I mean, he was in this instance.
Yeah.
In this moment in time.
Yeah.
He was having this conversation with this flat earth person, and he sounded like he came off as like a reasonable, normal person.
Yeah, okay. I thought so. Like he was like very patient, and he knew a lot of stuff just off the top of his head. Like all of these arguments this guy made, he knew like a lot of probably pretty generic stuff that I just like wouldn't think of. But you know, like, oh no, but what about this? But what about this? What about gravity? What about these experiments? What about this? And it was all, I thought it was pretty interesting. But when I brought it up to Pete was like, no, that guy was like way too into himself. Like, why did he talk with this guy for over an hour? And I was like,
sure. Yeah, it's like he just really wanted to be right.
Yeah.
And or wanted to put this person on like showcase and be like, look at this dumb motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, we don't need to like see that. We already know.
Right. It could have been a 5-minute video, probably.
Like, no offense to this poor person, but like also it's like you just made this person a punching bag, and you're like, I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, that's more than enough time spent on this man. Just don't.
Yeah.
You don't need to watch videos by him. Yeah, we're not experts. We're not experts. We're bus driver scientists at best. So, I mean, we're better than that, but.
At least a bus driver has a job, though.
You guys, this podcast is free. Enough said. Moving on.
Yeah. We're not doing the work of an NPR reporter. We're doing the work of like
a Fox News reporter.
Yeah. Oh.
Well.
Oh, damn it. I gotta get that sound effect back up. Fuck. I missed my chance.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
The first sound sounds like a fart.
Yeah, it's like very trumpety.
Yeah, it's like a comic fart. It's like a comical fart.
Burp. Okay.
All right.
Moving on.
Yeah.
Facebook group is the best.
Oh, it's so good.
There's some really weird shit in there. I mean, and your screen caps of the Flat Earth Facebook groups have been really on point. So thank you for doing that.
Of
you
course.
really expose yourself to some farty rooms.
Stinky farts. And not even like once you like join the groups and it just gets into your feed, like it's not even like you're exposing yourself, it's just like guerrilla warfare on your brain, because it's just like popping up in between like, oh, so and so had a baby, oh, so and so's engaged, like it's just like flat earth blah blah blah, and I'm just like, ew. But I left those groups this morning, so I should probably start therapy soon or whatever to get over
No,
it.
just like cleanse your brain. Go outside,
Yeah.
breathe from fresh air. Go look at the horizon.
Oh, good. Yeah. Know that this globe is round.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I love the Facebook
Go
group.
watch a rocket like launch or something.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be fun. I'll just
Yeah.
go look at the waves in the ocean, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. That's pretty sweet.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I don't know. I don't think we have too much business to take care of up top.
Yeah.
Did you have anything fucked up this week?
It's all good stuff for me. All
Oh.
good stuff. Nothing fucked up here.
Oh.
What about you?
Well, my week balances yours out, I guess. Do you want to hear about the rectal exam I got, or would you like to hear about me being accosted by a homeless person at the gas station?
Oh my God. I mean, fuck.
I mean, there's not much.
Dealer's choice.
There's not much to the rectal exam. Basically, I had.
You already had your copay and you're getting your money's worth, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I told
good
you.
for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like at the GI because I had that's a gastroenterologist, and I had colon polyps like a few years ago when they checked me for my when I had that like parasite situation. They were like, oh, you have polyps. So then my regular doctor was like, oh, you have a history, you should go in and get another one. I was like, great. And so I went in and they were like, no, like, are you bleeding out of your butt when you poop or anything? And I was like, no. And they were like, okay, well, like, I don't think you need one.
You're here.
Yeah. Do you want me to do a rectal exam? And I was like, I was not prepared. I hadn't showered even that day. And I was like, and then I was like, Nicole, just do it. You're here. And I told her I was a comedian, like I'd put it in my paperwork because I don't have a job, and I was like, I guess I should fill something in. So I was like, she was like, oh, so do you want to get a rectal exam while you're here? I'm like, I guess. I mean,
you're like, is that a joke?
Yeah, I was like, I paid the $40 copay. She's like, there you go. Also, like, you might be able to use it for material. And I was like, okay. It was really unpleasant. She was rough down there. Like, it was like,
oh my God.
have you ever had one?
Oh, girl, have I?
Okay, I thought maybe you would, but
I've had several since my before and after my surgery.
Yeah,
It hasn't gone my way in the past year.
well,
so
it was like she was
just,
like
lay on
jammed,
your side.
but she like jammed it, and then she was like wiggling her fingers all around in there, and I was like,
she's just making sure.
Yeah, I don't know. And then she like smeared her finger on like this thing. She was like, oh, I just got a little stool
You're
sample.
like, is there blood?
Yeah, but she's like, is there blood? And then she's like, oh, you're all good. I was like, ew. And then I felt like my whole drive home, I like just felt like I smelled like poop.
I need to shit. Oh.
Oh, no, I had to shit later in the day, and that was awkward because I wasn't at home. But I was like, oh, it's happening. It's going to happen.
Oh, I just shit everywhere now. I used to not be able to poop in public, but I think like episode 2 of this podcast, you guys can hear all about it.
We've talked about it. It's fine.
Yeah. Wait, have you never had a rectal exam before?
No, that was my first one. I've had the colonoscopy, but I was out.
But you're asleep for it.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like, I don't.
And you're like super cleaned out from all the
yeah. So like, when I had my colonoscopy, my asshole was pristine, not a stink of shit. But when I had this one,
your sphincter only was like ready for
But this one was like, I was coming in hot. I was like, I was like, do I need to clean up or anything? She's like, no. I was like, oh no.
Oh man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's cool. Anyway, I don't really want to talk about being accosted by the homeless person now. I'll save it for another time.
Yeah.
But I do have, it was hard actually not to just go straight to the Facebook group and tell everyone what happened. Both times, both for my
I know.
For my
it's like we have a group of friends that we just like can like tell anything to.
I know all our weird stuff. I was
all
like,
our weird stuff.
Oh my God.
Like it's stuff that I like want to post on Facebook to like my whole feed.
Yeah.
But I'm like, oh no, like my grandma's gonna see this, or I don't know.
Yeah.
My great aunt will be like liking it, and I'd be like, why did you like that?
No, I have. No, I know. You're like, oh God, I forget that you follow me on here, and this is awkward.
Right.
And do you have anything else?
No, I'm ready to roll.
Okay, well, I have
whatever.
I have a segue for us today via
Perfect.
Facebook Messenger.
Amazing.
I love this because someone reached out. You know, we get the emails, but we can both see them. But someone reached out to me via Facebook Messenger, so you couldn't see this, and I was like so excited because I was like, "Ooh, I'll get to like read this, you know, to Erin."
Yeah,
and
I
she
love
won't
that.
know. Yeah, it's very exciting.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God, I just went to type in Wikipedia. It's just like autofilled to Kentucky meat shower.
why? What?
I don't know. I must have spent a lot of time researching that. I don't know.
What is a Kentucky meat shower?
I'll tell you when you're older.
Ew!
I don't know. I think it's an actual thing that happened, but I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it sounds awful. No, what is it? If you had to make something up for it, what would a Kentucky meat shower be?
Okay. It's where you get a tractor and you're riding the tractor and you're out there on the you're not tilling the land. You're driving on a
Highway.
rural street.
Oh, okay.
Rural road.
Okay.
And you're drinking some bourbon.
Uh-huh.
And then you hit some roadkill. And then the tractor throws it up in the air, and then you got a Kentucky meat shower. I don't know.
Oh, I always thought a Kentucky meat shower was when you set up a Tinder date and they're on their way over, but before they get there, you run down to KFC and you get a bucket of just wings, just no breasts. You just get Kentucky Fried Chicken.
What about legs?
No legs, just the wings.
Uh-huh.
And you get back, and then your Tinder date's there, but you're hiding the chicken from them. And then when you start getting nasty, and then when they least expect it, you poke them in the butthole, and they go, "What was that for?" And you toss the bucket of chicken on them, and you go, "Kentucky meat shower."
Oh my God, that's pretty good.
That was a really long one, but I feel like
we both made those up as it came into our brains.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not what it is. It's an actual thing that happened in Kentucky, apparently.
So says the internet. Okay. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to read you Diana's letter, and then she messaged me, and so halfway through I started responding. I have some responses, and I also had some follow-up questions to her, which she answered. So I'm going to share it all.
Great.
But I'll try and go fast. So this is from Diana.
Okay.
Of course it starts with nice stuff about the podcast, so. Hey, Nicole, love the podcast. I now religiously listen to yours and MFM. Smiley face.
Nice.
Yeah. I wanted to share a few things with you guys, but didn't want to do it publicly, so hopefully you see this. Okay. My fucked up story is about the class I took last summer. I really love anatomy, so I took a cadaver dissection course. Cadaver? Yeah.
Yeah.
Not cadaver.
Holy I was going to say holy diver.
Holy cadaver.
Cadaver. You've been gone too long in the midnight sea.
In the midnight morgue.
Oh my God, I'm too drunk.
Okay. Okay.
We'll cut that out.
Yeah, we're cutting all this out. My fucked up story is about the class I took last summer. I really love anatomy, so I took a cadaver dissection course, then planned to be the TA for the anatomy class. It was weird at first because, cutting open dead old people, but you get used to it pretty quickly. Obviously, some pretty odd things happened during that class. So 3 or 4 people were assigned to each body, 10 total in the room, and we fully dissected them over the course of a month, going in 3 times a week. Some of the cadavers had pacemakers that would make a sound randomly, and the first time it happened, we were all like, what the fuck?
Whoa.
One class day, I was dissecting the upper arm of my cadaver and resting my elbow on the edge of the table so I could reach what I needed. My arm rested there for almost the whole class time, about 3 hours, and I lost feeling in that skin for a few months. So now I have a fun story about how I partially embalmed myself.
Oh my God.
I think just because her arm,
God.
it was like in the liquid or whatever.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's gross. Okay, but it gets worse, so just wait.
Okay, cool. I love it.
She wrote, at least for me, things were pretty normal in the room after I got used to it, but once I got out of class, I'd be more grossed out. So we had to, it's like you could like put it out of your mind when you're like in there doing it, but then once you leave and you think about like what just happened, you're like, oh my God, oh my God.
Oh, totally.
So we had to save all of the tissue because, at least at my school, they cremate the bodies and give the ashes back to the family after the classes are done with them. So we would remove fat and put it in a bin at the top of the table to save for the family. I don't think they need that though. Like,
no.
You don't. I don't know. It's like that's a little.
Cool, though. That's nice.
Yeah, it's nice, I guess. I mean, you're getting all of your loved one back. The most fucked up thing that happened the most fucked up thing happened one day after I left class. I walked home, eager to perform my post-class ritual of stripping down, hopping in the shower, and hosing down my clothing. Like I said, I could rest my arm in cadaver juice during class, but as soon as I left, it grossed me the fuck out. I walk in my apartment, take my shoes off, strip, and go to throw my clothes and shoes in the running water when I notice there's a chunk of human fat wedged into a groove on the bottom of my shoe.
Oh, fuck. Oh my God.
I was so fucking grossed out. It emotionally upset me for like the next 2 days. Needless to say, I cleaned everything in my apartment with bleach and made sure that in the future I wipe my shoes in the grass on my way home before tracking dead body pieces into my home again.
Oh my God.
Okay, well, that's what I wrote. I wrote, oh my God, I am legitimately laughing so hard. I love that you sent this to me so Erin can't see it, and I can read it out loud to her when we record next, as long as you're cool with it. And she wrote, of course. LOL, sorry about the super long fucked up message. Thanks for making a great podcast. Oh no, I think I missed a part. Oh, hang on. Oh no! No!
You sounded like Celine Dion.
Oh.
It's not good. I hate Celine Dion. Sorry.
It's not good.
It's not a compliment.
What an asshole. Okay, so I said, oh my God, I am legitimately laughing so hard. I love that you sent this to me so Erin can't see it and I can read it out loud to her when we record next, as long as you're cool with it. What is the texture of dead people fat? Is it hard or squishy? And I had written that to her as she's writing to me. So she's like, of course, LOL. Sorry about the super long fucked up message. Thanks for making a great podcast. You guys helped me with my microbiology exam as it covered helminths and the bubonic plague and definitely not E. coli. So you guys were with me in my final. That's so cool.
Oh my God.
I'm glad I could make you laugh. That's all the fucked up stuff I have to share right now. Hope I didn't ruin your dinner. And then she said, yes, you can totally read the story next time. I'd be honored, LOL. It's definitely squishy, and it looks yellow like butter on popcorn and is all oily and stuff. It kind of does look like corn, to be honest.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Like niblets, I guess. I was definitely glad during that class that I was already vegetarian because you see some nasty stuff. Then I said, where'd you end up disposing of it? Did you take it back to the lab or did you just put it down the garbage disposal or something? And then I wrote, ew, ew.
Oh my God.
And she wrote, maybe I should have since it was like somebody's loved one's cellulite. But I was so grossed out. I think I just grabbed it with a wad of toilet paper and flushed it down the toilet and tried not to throw up for a few hours.
That's fine.
Yeah.
If it was my cellulite, I'd be like, that's cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And then we just chatted and stuff.
That's so crazy. Yeah. Oh my God.
So that was her story. She said she was glad to listen to the next episode. Thanks for writing back. If possible, please do not use my last name. Love you guys. Yeah. I didn't use her last name. So
God bless.
God bless Diana. So fun. I had so much fun talking to her that night.
That's amazing.
We're segueing into our topic, which is all around dead bodies. And I watched a documentary, or actually it was a documentary and like an indie film type thing last night. And I was pretty nauseous throughout most of it, but then it ended and I waited probably like 15 minutes and then I'm like, okay, I'll make dinner now.
Well, the only thing that will get me, I think, nauseous is the smell of formaldehyde.
Oh, yeah.
I remember dissecting like fetal pigs and stuff in high school, and that shit was, it wasn't so, I didn't mind the dissection process. Like I wasn't squeamish about like the actual process. Oops. It was more the smell of the formaldehyde.
Yeah, it's not and is it that smell would be bad on its own, or is it because you associate it with dead things? Do you know what I mean?
No, that smell would be bad on its own. It's like, it's cloying and it smells ugly. I don't know.
I have to tell you something that happened in my biology class when we were dissecting the fetal pig. It's someone you know, and I'll tell you after who it was. But we were dissecting our fetal pig. Our teacher was like, looking at all the pigs because we threw them away that day. We were done. Like we just we disposed of them. She saw that one was missing its feet and she made everyone stop. We couldn't leave the room. She's like, I know someone has taken she's like, you need to say who you are. This is like illegal or whatever. Like this is like not good. You cannot do this. Like we have to account for all.
Who did this?
I'll tell you after because I don't even want to have it like on tape.
No, definitely.
Even if we edit it out, because
it was insane.
So she literally walked up to the front of the class and like opened her shirt.
Everybody?
No. The person who like stepped forward, walked up to the front of the class, opened her shirt, and literally took dead fetal pig feet out of her bra. She had stuffed them in her bra.
Are you fucking kidding me?
It was so gross. Anyway, but that was
crazy.
Yeah, I was like, what? I remember because I'm such like a nerd about certain stuff. I just like following
about rules.
I'm a rule follower. And when she was doing that, I was like, what are you doing? And she's like, oh, it's gonna be so funny. I was like, this isn't funny, but of course I'm not gonna like narc on her because I didn't want to be that outcast for the rest of high school.
Oh man.
Yeah.
The politics of high school.
Ugh, so awful. Yeah, so anyway, we're gonna
Good Lord. It's segueing into the topic.
We're gonna talk about basically what happens when you die and you donate your body. Like to certain
science.
Things. To science, or to other people, I guess you could say.
Sure. So there's whole body donation and then there's like organ donation.
Yeah, and I want to caveat,
which are two totally separate things.
Yeah. And I want to caveat that we have some listeners who are experts in this field. I know that we have people who even just Diana probably knows a lot about this, and I know we have a listener that is in like forensic science. So we're talking loosely about this today. Definitely let us know if we missed something or got something wrong, which I think we're just going to talk about the basics. So we're not diving too deep into it, but be gentle. Let's talk about if you donate to others first. So if you donate your parts.
The main organs that are harvested are heart, kidneys, liver, lungs, intestines, pancreas, and I think a few other things, but those are the main organs that are harvested from a body upon death.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
And make no mistake, like, this is a very, I know it's like, it's hard for some people to think about or talk about. And I don't want anybody to think we're being irreverent when we're talking about it like this. But this is a life-saving thing.
Well,
and
I don't think we're being irreverent. It's
well,
just
we're
a
being
thing.
kind of cold. I think we're being a little cold.
Oh, I don't think that. But also, I don't look at it as. I guess maybe if we were talking about this with someone's loved one, it'd be different. But
sure.
I think we're just talking about what happens, like
brass tacks. Yeah.
It just is what happens. And also, I mean, to your point, it saves a lot of lives and it enriches people's lives and it does a lot of good.
Yeah. I just wanted to caveat that, though.
But I think we're
before we really get into it.
Yeah, we're not.
This is like
Yeah,
this is a subject I think that might be really, like, triggering for some people, and I don't want to, like, upset anybody.
Yeah, we're just talking, it's like sciencey.
It's science, yeah.
Although, I am going to bring it to something, like, somewhat personal. I don't know. I mean, it has to do with, like, a real person. But, so, I always thought it was really interesting that you can harvest people's eyes. So if people have had, like, eye trauma, they can be a recipient of a donor who, has passed away and gives their eyes. And when I lived in New York City a while ago, there were signs went up in the subway because Jerry Orbach donated his eyes after he died.
Oh.
Who was on Law and Order.
Yeah.
And they were like it was the weirdest advertisement because it was like Jerry Orbach, like, the greatest role of his lifetime was donating his eyes to 2 lucky New York City recipients or whatever. It was a weird ad, but also it was
that's weird. Like, you mean an ad for becoming a donor?
Yeah, for becoming a donor. Yeah, specifically of your eyes. So it was weird because there was a picture of him and it was like a close up and his eyes, and then it was like 2 New Yorkers have his eyes. They know who they are. Like, they must.
Were they the people that had the eyes, or just like random actors?
Oh, no.
They're like, look.
I don't know who the people were. It was not a picture of them. But
okay.
But they probably ride the subway, and then they're like looking up with the eyes that are looking back at them.
And it's would that be like the best, like, conversation starter? Like, hey, I know my eye looks a little funny, but it's Jerry Orbach's eye.
Yo, this Jerry Orbach's eye. Oh, or what if someone's like, wow, you have really beautiful eyes, and you're all, you mean I? This is Jerry Orbach's eye. Law and Order, ever heard of it?
Dun dun. I'm sorry, R.I.P. Jerry.
No, but he did a great thing.
He did a great thing.
And it was cute because I was reading an article about this campaign because I remembered it when we were, like, researching this, and I was like, oh my God. It was like cool, but also really creepy in a way because, I don't know.
It's very macabre.
Yeah, it is. But I was looking and apparently he had, like, better than 20/20 vision until he died, and he was really proud of it. And so he always wanted to donate his eyes because he like knew it was like a really good thing that he had.
He's like, trust me.
You want these.
You want these.
Yeah, it was cute.
Holy shit.
But,
I love it.
But yeah, so you can donate your eyes. Tissue can be donated. And that doesn't even really have to be alive, I don't think, when it's donated. And there's other things like, well, skin is a tissue, but veins, heart valves, tendons, ligaments. I even think they did the first face transplant like a year or 2 ago. So someone donated their face. Like,
I mean, I'll donate my face.
I mean, I'll donate my face too, but like,
that's crazy.
But like,
that's intense.
No one's gonna want my old face. Hopefully, when I'm dead, when I'm old, like you want like a nice young face.
Yeah, that's true.
If you're the
that's
recipient.
True. I mean, God willing, you'll die at an old age, you know, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, man, I've taken good care of my skin all these
Me
years.
too.
It's pretty, it's a solid face.
Yeah.
It's like Arya collecting faces.
Yeah.
Like, that's the face that you want some good skin.
Your face is above mediocre, I think.
Thank you. So is yours. You have beautiful skin.
Oh, thank you. So do you. We're just beautiful people, but
I mean,
we could be totally lying about that because it's a podcast.
you have a face for radio. Oh God. Anyway.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, there's not much more to it. I mean, I'm sure there is, but in terms of what...
Be a donor. It's a noble thing to do. It'll save lives. I know people that have directly benefited from people who they've received donor organs and they've gone on to live their lives.
Yeah.
Where they otherwise probably would have passed away or like been on dialysis or something for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
And they're now totally healthy, and it's a very noble thing, and it's important.
And my feeling is like, if you could help someone when you're no longer here, it's cool.
Absolutely.
It's pretty cool.
It's a mitzvah.
What's that? A good thing.
Mitzvah is like a good thing in Judaism.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so I guess there's like the one thing where you can donate your body, or you could donate, different parts, but then there's also where you could donate the whole thing. And usually if you donate your whole body, it's for science and research. There's no other it's either science or research. I should hope not. Yeah, I don't oh, have you ever seen those like funerals where they bring the body and like prop it up like it's still alive?
Yeah.
Those are weird.
Yeah. There in New Orleans, I think there's funeral homes that do like very elaborate there was one like a lady, like a really like grande dame had passed away, and she like had like they put on like this party dress. They had a huge party, and she's like holding a cocktail. It's like, fuck yes, you bad bitch. Go ahead.
Is that the one where I saw one where the lady's wearing sunglasses and she's holding cards, like she's playing poker, and she's wearing like a sports coat, like a sports team jacket, and she's just like playing poker.
No, that's a different lady. Well, she's awesome too.
Yeah, they're chill.
Or like there's a guy, I think this is like down in South America somewhere, like riding a motorcycle or something, and then they like have him in like a glass case, and they like tow him behind
I saw
truck.
that, but like you might as well, and then just cremate that shit.
Hell yeah!
Give them their thing, cremate. Yeah, you're done.
You're done. I don't know, man. I God bless.
Yeah, God bless.
What a way to celebrate your life.
Yeah. Well, speaking of learning, so science and research. Awesome.
Yes.
Definitely more complicated. Not as easy as like filling something out on your license.
Right. So for this, you usually want to go through like a university or some sort of, there's lots of different organizations that can help you with this. And I think a lot of universities, their standards aren't as like hardcore. Like I know some organizations don't accept you if you've like had certain diseases or something, but I don't know. It all depends. A lot of universities want to see what your body has gone through if you've had, cancer or I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Well, this is so interesting. So there's like kind of two or maybe like three major routes, two major, one not so major. There's body farms, which we'll talk about. There's being a medical cadaver, which we'll talk about. And then there's even like donating. I guess it would still fall under being a cadaver, but like your body is used in like experiments with like crash testing and stuff. It's like for like
yeah,
corporations, but I don't really have much information on that.
Yeah, it's like they like make crash test dummies.
Yeah,
basically based on cadavers.
Yeah, because they need to know
and how a human body like
would be injured
reacts.
Yeah,
exactly.
Obviously, you don't want to do that with living people, and you wouldn't get as good of research from like a regular crash test dummy. So they use cadavers.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah. So body farms.
This is the most fascinating to me.
So fascinating. I learned, I mean, I already knew about these from reading a few different books, but I don't think I ever retained how they came about. And there's basically one man that's responsible for body farms. And his name is Dr. Bill Bass, and he is with the University of Tennessee, and he has been for like 50 years or so.
Didn't he die though?
Oh, maybe he's dead now.
He donated his body?
Oh, he should.
Because,
of course he would.
Yeah, I think he did.
He might be dead. I watched the things I watched were kind of old.
Yeah.
And he was real old in them.
Yeah.
So he was the one he was studying at the University of Tennessee, and he was studying anthropology, and he was like, you know, kind of like, his thesis was on, you know, what happens when a body kind of like breaks down. He wanted to know like what happens after you die, and all the different stages and stuff. He's so smart. So he set up the University of Tennessee Anthropological Research Facility, and basically he used that to read skeletons and bones. And so before, like, I guess as he's getting started with this, with setting up the research facility, he was helping a lot of the local law enforcement when they had a case and they didn't really understand, you know, because he was like a skeleton and a bone reader at that point. He knew about bones because, you know, you could use old bones and stuff to kind of look at and find things. But then he started realizing, there's all these different phases and different situations. We don't know anything about these things. And he was pulled into a case in like the 60s or 70s, I'm not exactly sure when, where a headless body was found in a family plot in a backyard, which is already weird. That's so weird that people just like bury their relatives in their backyard, but I think it's like a southern thing.
I would do that if I had a lot of land.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. I wouldn't want...
I believe in natural burial.
I like that. Yeah, I like natural burial,
yeah.
But I wouldn't want it in my yard, I guess. I don't know. There's something like weird to me about that.
Well, if you believe in ghosts or something, maybe, but...
I don't.
You don't.
No, so I don't know. I don't know. But anyway, so he went to this... So what had happened was they went... there was a headless body. It was in the family plot. When he went to check it out, he was like, okay, yeah, like this is pretty easy. There's still a lot of like pink tissue that's attached to the bone. This was like between a 24 and 28-year-old white male. He's been dead about a year. He's still pretty fresh, all this stuff. But then, and so they thought, so maybe there was foul play, like, someone buried this person in the last year. And he's headless. Who the fuck is this? And who would do this? And are they buried on top of another older body? Whatever.
Yeah.
But it turned out they were able to identify him as some rebel officer from the Civil War. And he had been buried in a metal coffin and was preserved. So it, like, threw the science off. He was completely wrong by, like, a century. Centuries.
So that like rocked his like worldview and made him realize like, okay, there's anomalies that can happen and I need to figure out why.
Yeah, and every situation is different. We really need to understand, and this has been instrumental in how law enforcement works, and how they work with researchers and experts to determine when a body is found or a part is found, like, you know, in a murder or even a natural death. Like, they're able to get so much information from these situations because of what Dr. Bass started at the University of Tennessee, which is...
Yeah. He's also still alive.
He is? Okay. He's...
Yeah. Well, because I was looking into this, and there's another university that does this in Texas.
Yeah.
And what they'll do sometimes is they'll put bodies out in different areas that are like participating in this study. They have body farms like
all over the country,
all over the country, and they'll put a body out. Like they'll coordinate with each university research department that has a body farm. And body farm, first of all, is not the scientific or the like the actual like name of it, but that for purposes of just talking about it in colloquial ways, like that's what it is. Mm-hmm. So they'll put a body out that somebody has donated, and they'll put a body out at the same time to see how each area climate, temperature, whatever affects, and like the soil differences affect the decay of a body.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
There's a really good Nat Geo documentary that's like 45 minutes or so. It's kind of a longer one. Vice did a really good one through Motherboard, where they went and visited both documentaries went and visited the University of Tennessee, and they talked to Bill Bass. And
there's also a really good episode of Criminal.
Podcast.
About it.
Yep.
Podcast. It's so good. She's like super straight laced, like as a narrator, like she's very NPR, you know.
Yeah.
And she's like, and then he like the professor like takes her through like the body farm, and she's just like, you can hear her like upset in her voice as they like come around a corner and see like a really decayed body.
Oh.
And it's like you're like, oh, you poor thing, like, and you can really feel her like distress.
Okay.
Because it's like,
it's
interesting.
I need to re-listen to that, because I stopped listening because I knew what it was about, and I'd already watched a bunch of stuff. So I was like, oh, I listened to the other podcast you sent me. But also, I'm not chill with that NPR voice. It's so inauthentic to me. It's like,
oh, I love it. I love it. It's so soothing.
I can't stand it, and I'm just like, oh, but I do like her podcast, because usually it's a lot of interviews, so there's someone else talking.
Yeah.
But yeah.
No, you get some emotion from her.
Oh, cool. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'll finish listening to it. Yeah.
She's like out of breath and like almost like on the verge of tears. Like it's intense. Yeah.
Well, think about being a student. So, you have to be cool with this type of stuff if you're going to be in any fields that look at the human body. So whether it is forensics type, law enforcement type roles, or medical type roles, like whatever field you're gonna get involved in.
Yeah.
Especially if you're at a university like the University of Tennessee, and you have this at your disposal, they're bringing groups of students through there, and it's like, as a first timer, it's gonna be unpleasant. It
ain't business school, kids.
No. Yeah, you're not just like schmoozing and ending up a douchey salesperson.
And networking. Yeah. No.
No, like this shit's crazy. And looking at it was disturbing, but I can only imagine what the smell is like. Like, it's gotta be brutal.
Yeah. Especially through each stage of decay.
Yeah.
So they have bodies placed throughout these big swaths of land that the university owns, and they have to designate. They have to find places to put these places, because a lot of people are like, fuck that, I don't want that next door to me or whatever.
Yeah.
Or like they also have to consider like carrion animals like vultures, like they like birds flying in the area, and like flight patterns, shit like that. So they have to like have a lot of consideration for where they put these places. And they put bodies facing upright, so like face up, and some of them are put in cages, some of them are just like left out in the open for animals to access them, and then some of them are clothed and some of them aren't. So there's all these little factors that they consider.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
In the sun, in the shade.
Yeah.
But sometimes they're face up, sometimes they're face down. Like,
sometimes they're face down. Yeah.
Any situation. And what was really cool is that if there's a case that's like, it doesn't matter if it's local, if it's national, if the police are having a really hard time figuring anything out about it, these body farms will try to recreate the case using one of the donated bodies so that they can get like feedback information to the police about what may have occurred, what the circumstances could have been. Like it's so interesting. There was something where I think someone had passed away and they lived in a trailer, and it was like, okay, well, we found this guy, we don't know how long he's been dead, like we don't know, we need to understand kind of what happens if you die in this exact kind of situation, so that when we find others, we can give them a rough time of death, we can give them, like whatever, they just need to be able to understand the situation. And this is what's so cool. There was nothing like this before he started this. No one could look at a body and say, based on this much, decay, we know this. No, there was nothing. It's crazy how much it advanced that field.
Bodies don't decay in a vacuum. No. Like each
situation.
So like there is like an initial like timeline of process. So the initial decay begins when your cells begin to die.
Yeah.
And then you already have, not to be like, freak out anybody who's a germaphobe, but like you have bacteria on you all the time.
Yeah.
And so when you die and you're not, your body's not regulating all this stuff as it does when it's alive, the bacteria takes over.
Yep.
So, as the bacteria takes over, it feeds on you, it creates gases, and you're like everything inside of you just starts to do what they call marbling. Mm-hmm. So like your color, all of your color drains out of you, and you
well, like your blood settles.
Your blood settles,
and it creates these like different patterns of color, and that's just what happens.
Right. That's just what happens. Yeah.
It's not moving through you anymore. So
yeah, your blood coagulates, and whatever position you died in, that's where the blood settles and stays. And then it gets a little bit more gruesome with like flies. Especially if you're outdoors, will come and like lay eggs on you or inside of your nose, mouth, whatever. And then a few days later after that, typically your body starts to do what they call purge. And it's just like, first you bloat. Yeah. Sorry, I skipped a part there. After the flies lay eggs in you and maggots start crawling everywhere, you start to bloat because the gases build up from all the bacteria that's like started to feed off of you.
Yeah.
And then the purge is this dark, like the bloating is relieved by this dark fluid. It kind of drains out of you.
Yeah.
And that's just the process of decay.
Yeah.
And it's gross. It's really gross. Like it's disgusting.
It's gross.
And this is why we as a society are like, especially American culture, are very obsessed with like preserving bodies, because I think we want a chance to be able to say goodbye, and it's like very special to people to be able to view their loved ones in a state of non-decay.
Yeah.
Because we're really fixated on death, I think.
Yeah.
Well,
and it's unpleasant.
But this is what happens.
It's gross. It's unpleasant. I mean, people don't like when they see someone get a cut and they bleed. Like no one wants to see this. It's like, yeah, it's not.
Some people are better with it than others, but like this is the natural process. Like your body the energy is changing. It is now going back into this form where it's not living anymore, and it's like breaking down and things are feeding off of it.
Yeah.
And it's the circle of life.
Yeah.
And this is what happens when you're not preserved with or embalmed.
Yeah.
So
it's the cremated. Natural. It just is what happens.
It's the process. Yeah. But if you're preserved in a different way, like the guy in the airtight coffin, these are the things that can happen naturally. And so like this is why like in like times before science and medicine, when they'd see somebody who is like preserved really well due to whatever factor, whether they were like in an airtight coffin or something, they like thought they were vampires or some shit.
Or like saints.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very interesting. I think there's also been like there's also other kind of uses for these farms. It's not just to help kind of forensics and like criminology and stuff like that. It also helps understand like insect activity, and I mean it's all still related to dead bodies, obviously, but you know, if let's say a body isn't found or it's buried a little bit under or whatever, there are certain insects that come kind of check out what's happening, and so if a body isn't readily available, there's ways that insects could be read at the crime scene to help determine if there's a body there. Cadaver dogs, they also use these farms to like train the dogs so that they can learn how to sniff out, a foot under, 2 feet under, 6 feet under, and like kind of what's happening in the area.
Or like those dogs that found that guy that was buried on that guy's property. Remember like a last month or whatever, 2 months ago? The guy that lured his friends to his property in Pennsylvania.
Yeah. And
he dug like a huge hole with his backhoe, and it was like 12 feet under. Like twice the like depth that a person is usually buried at.
And cadaver dogs will still find it because they're trained. Yeah. They're not just smelling for the cadaver, they're smelling for the thing, like for what's happening with the flora and the fauna around the cadaver and the insects. Like they're reading other signals, and in order to figure that out and like isolate those, you have to have the cadaver, and it needs to be at all these different like it's so awesome. It's so cool. I think one last thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if I was ever gonna go back to school, it'd be for forensic anthropology.
I love it so much.
I mean, I have my BA in anthropology, but I would go back and do this. Yeah, it's so fucking awesome.
It's so interesting. I love that you can like tell. I would love to be a detective, honestly. I just love clues and solving puzzles and those types of things. And these are like the most interesting puzzles, especially when you have no context,
Definitely.
But yeah, I think it's pretty cool. I was gonna mention like this other one thing, but I don't need to. It's like a radar thing.
Are you sure?
Yeah. So, it's so these body farms are really rad, but that's not the only use.
That's just one. That's just one use.
One use.
And it's a more I would say recent more modern way to donate your body to science. Like otherwise there's like you can donate your body to be a cadaver at like I mentioned earlier to a university. Where the students are using your body to just learn basic anatomy.
Yeah. And you could be pre-med. You could also be an art student. We have our friend Austin is an artist. And I remember in community college, he took anatomy and physiology. And I don't remember if there was a human involved. I feel like maybe his 201 class there was a human, but it was like cats and stuff earlier on. But it's because you're learning about the body, so you have that perspective when you are drawing people and stuff. But
you need to know all the things.
Yeah, but obviously a lot of doctors in training kind of are the ones that practice on cadavers the most.
Yeah. And it's interesting, too. There's a really good episode of Only Human. Oh. And such a good podcast. And it's all NYU students that they're focusing on. And it's like the first year med students that they like go and they like have these cadavers that they're working on. And one of the doctors that they interview at one point is recalling a time where she like it was like her first time, working with a cadaver, and the heart was on the other side, which is super rare. And she was like frustrated because she's like, how am I supposed to learn properly? But it's like, this is the thing. Every human body is so different and so unique. And you need to be prepared as a doctor to be ready for those situations where every person's physiology is, it's not always going to be exactly the way it says in the textbook. Like, you have to be ready for these millions of different, you know, random variations of a human body.
Especially if you're like a surgeon or like an ER doctor,
Absolutely.
like you have to be able to orient yourself like very quickly.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And like, if everything's where it's supposed to be, like, that's great. But like, and you can probably learn a lot, obviously, because everything's where it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
But how cool would it be to like have this anomaly, like the very first thing, like she's explaining, like her and her like lab partners go in and start opening up this body and everything's wrong.
Yeah.
And then the professor comes by and he's like, let me see this.
Yeah. You guys
And
just can't
he, like,
find it.
Yeah. And he's like, oh shit. So that it's a really good episode if you guys listen to that. And then it goes into like the NYU med students and how actually a lot of the med students that do work on cadavers, not just at NYU, I'm sure this is like goes for all different programs all over the country at different colleges, but usually second year med students have like ceremonies for these bodies, for these human people that they've learned from, and it's like very beautiful and moving, and it's so sweet.
I was listening in Starbucks earlier today, and I was like getting teary-eyed because not so much because they're having a service for these people, but I thought that was nice. And they were singing, like, there were, like, students singing Hello by Adele. And
it's just silly.
But it was sweet. And also, they were reading passages, you know, from their favorite literature. And also, one student had written something about how grateful she was that this person, you know, lived their best life and then donated their body to help, you know, the students.
Other people learn.
And to help. I mean, it's so unselfish. And if you think about it, you're doing something for everyone because your body could be the one that solves a problem or that a student figures something out with, you know, like it's so awesome. And so, they were really like humanizing these cadavers. And they mentioned this in the podcast, and I've heard this before, that they cover up the hands and the face usually when you're working, just because, you know, that's like a human element, and obviously you don't want to see someone's face.
You need to be able to focus and think critically while you're doing, and logically while you're learning some of this stuff. So that's the first years, they can't see that because they need to be able to like do the basics. But the second year med students, they like see the full picture of this person. And, I mean, obviously they don't learn about them or anything.
No,
but like,
they don't know who they are.
They don't know who they are. They just their face is uncovered and stuff, so they can like see them as an actual human and not just like this thing. But also like it's interesting too because this body is like drained of blood and is just like this piece of meat basically that they are working on, and it's just it's a lot. I don't think I could ever be a doctor because of this. No. Like I'm too empathic, and I like can't. I would be constantly wondering who this person was. So
wouldn't you? Even if you wanted to be like a forensic anthropologist, you'd still have to like do this stuff. It's like it's crazy. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know that I could do it either. I'd like to think I could, but even just watching some of the documentaries I watched about this stuff, because I watched this other film that was like more of like an indie film, and it was about what happens when you die and there's no next of kin.
Ugh.
It was brutally graphic, first of all, but second, you know, it was like showing. Well, I guess that is brutally graphic. It was just sad. I don't know. I couldn't do it.
It's sad. It's heart-wrenching, yeah.
But also at the same time, it's weird that this is like business. Like these students, they're doing this for a grade to move on to the next class. You know, like it's interesting how it's we would associate so much humanity to it. And for them, there is a human element, and that's why they do this ceremony and stuff. But also, you have, like, if you're going to be in that field, you have to learn to separate those things. And some people can't. I don't think I could. But
that's why some doctors have terrible bedside manners.
Yeah.
They're just like, they're just these logic-based people that are just like, this is the diagnosis, this is it, and they can't.
Yeah.
And it's a lot of it, I think, is self-preservation too.
For sure, because that doesn't mean they're like that way in their own lives. It just means that they can't let themselves get like bogged down with every single person's case or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I am thankful for the healthcare professionals in my life that are just are so professional, but are also just very human at the same time.
Yeah.
Like, and if you have ever been through something where you have to like have surgery or whatever, and you have to see these people like multiple times and they care, and it's not even just for their ego. I think some of it is, but it is like, if you're wrapped up with this person, like my doctor that I had my endometriosis surgery with, he was just like, I don't know when I'd ever see him again, but it just so happens like I have to like go see him randomly, and it's like a year later since my surgery, and he's just like dying to see me because he wants to know, like he's like wants to know how my body is now, but like he also cares about me as a person. So,
isn't that so weird though? Like he had you cut open and was like in your body. Yeah, it's like I just am so fascinated by medicine, and it's never something I'd like to think maybe if I worked hard enough I could do it, but like it's just something I don't think I have the stomach for. And like, wow, it's so incredible that like, even I have to get an endoscopy soon, and even just thinking about someone using a scope and going through my throat down into my body, which I never think about what's in there. Do you know what I mean? I never think about like, oh, and my intestines is separate from my heart, from my liver, from like that. There's all these parts. It's just one big part, you know?
We're a machine in a lot of ways.
It's so amazing.
We're a machine made up of blood and guts and skin, and it's so crazy.
I love science.
Incredible.
And I love our spherical earth.
I do too. God bless our friends who are who are healthcare professionals, and God bless all of you who listen who are healthcare professionals. You're truly doing the Lord's work.
Yeah, I don't.
And thanks for listening to us ramble on about it.
Yeah, it's fun. I think we're both just like passionate about this stuff, and we're obviously true crime aficionados, and
absolutely,
we're interested in lots of these things. So yeah, it comes as no surprise. But I just like really loved this topic, and even
and if you guys want to learn more, there is a great book. I don't know how many people are familiar with Mary Roach.
Amazing.
But Mary Roach is one of the greatest just investigative like people in the world, and she has written books about the science behind sex. Which is called Bonk, which is a great book.
Mm-hmm.
She wrote a book about death and dying, and it's called Stiff.
Yep.
And lot of like heartfelt vibes for her while we were researching this. She also has a good book about space travel called Packing for Mars, which is incredible too. Just like how they figured out how people can take a shit in zero gravity. It has like a lot of vacuums need to be deployed.
Yeah, you guys think about it. Like something wrong had to happen. Like things had to go wrong before they were like, shit, we need to figure out how to do this. Literal shit.
Well, I mean, they're like, fuck, like they're going to have zero gravity. How are they going to get their doo-doos out? Like without it all just floating back up to their butt cheeks. Like, what do we do? You know? But so she like delves into these topics and like really goes for it. And I think she's a personal hero of mine.
Oh God.
Obviously, because like all this shit that she does is up my alley.
I feel like we should write a parody song about Mary Roach's book, digging into shitting with no gravity and the hit musical Wicked's defying gravity. There's something in there that needs to happen.
Yeah.
I'll make it happen.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Anything else you want to add to this topic?
I was just gonna say, if you're like really into this and you like want to donate your body to science, like just make sure that you research it thoroughly, and know that it's unlawful to provide monetary incentives for an individual's body donation prior to and after death. That is a law in the United States of America.
That kind of sucks that you can't get paid out for it while you're alive?
I feel like there'd be like it'd be
sketchy
like the grave digger kind of thing would come back
yeah.
in vogue.
That makes sense. Or there'd be a lot of like forgery and like weird
there'd
shit.
be like dudes showing up like, it's my aunt.
Yeah. Here's a body. Oh yeah, no. They consented.
Yeah. And then like also usually after they're done with your body, they've gotten all of the research they need to get done with it. They're going to cremate the remains and send them back to the family or the loved one. So
that's for Cadaver specifically, right? Because like
specifically, I think
because the body farm, I think they save your bones in a box.
Oh no, yeah,
okay,
dude. And one of the guys, like I forget which university in Texas it was, but he's like the head of the department there. He's like, I'm donating my body to do this, and I hope they keep the bones and like, you know, keep the skeleton in the university so I could watch over everybody. I thought that was really cute.
That was cute. Oh, well, that was another weird thing about the body farms, because people were like, oh, I want to donate my body, but I don't want to be the one that's like put out for the vultures. Because like there's like certain scenarios and stuff, and they're like, well, we can't like guarantee where we put your body, but noted.
I like the idea of like the quote unquote sky burial where you do have your body scavenged by like birds who you know scavenge your body. I don't know.
I like the tree, the natural death tree thing, because that was another thing that was interesting, was like when you die and you're on like soil or whatever, all the vegetation around you dies as you're like excreting the juices and whatever.
It's toxic.
It's toxic. Yeah. But a year later, the ground is super fertile. So they have these, I've seen like a video for it or whatever.
The pods.
Yeah. Where you're like, you become a tree. So that's cool. I'm down for that. That's what I would think I would want.
Yeah. I don't want to be pumped full of
formaldehyde.
And
I don't want to be in like a casket. I don't know. I don't either. I don't care about that. I thought cremation was a good option, but actually it's like not great for the environment, and there's all these things about it.
Yeah.
I think we'll do an episode on the topic of like funerals and stuff, because that shit's fucked up in terms of like the industry, and I think there's so much around this
death and dying.
Yeah. I mean, and it's interesting. I'm not scared of it, I don't think. Well,
that's all I got.
Yeah, same. That's all I got. Do you want to do the sound effect once more for the end of this? Because it's kind of a downer.
It is kind of a downer, but it's not. I love it. Hold on. Ready?
Yeah.
It's loading. Oh my god.
So good.
Wah, 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 wah. Follow us on social media.
Yeah, we're like more fun on there.
Yeah. This is like the macabre episode.
Yeah. It's not like the first and it's not the last.
Death and dying's always rough.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting, and you can make a difference in somebody's life if you donate your body or so parts of it. If you want to. No pressure.
I'm just going to donate my lady parts.
I got a hot vag. Yeah, follow us on social medias at DTFU Podcast. Aware.
My funeral, I'm just going to call it the pussy procession. And then it's just going to be me with my legs spread out. And I'm going to have sunglasses on. And, like, people are just going to carry me.
And your puss is just out.
Yeah. And people are out, like, dancing behind me. And I'm just like, ugh. I don't know.
Oh, it's hot. Love it.
Gross. Yeah. Share with a friend.
Yeah, especially after we just talked about that. Yeah, get somebody in that puss posse or whatever you just call it. Pussy procession.
Yeah. It's a procession. It's a possession.
A possession.
Yeah.
Are you possessed? I don't know.
That's when your puss has a demon.
Rate, review, subscribe.
Yeah.
Also, guys, this is a big announcement. If you've made it this far and you're still listening, we have a website now that I made by my own goddamn self.
Oh, she's feeling herself.
I made a website. It's dtfupodcast.com.
Yeah.
You can send us notes there. You can listen to episodes. You can read about our lives. Sort of. Eventually it'll be even more complete, but it's a pretty basic sitch.
We're gonna do like a joint photo shoot, so we have like profesh photos up there of us.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be hot. Everybody's gonna love it. I think that's it.
Yeah.
Join the secret Facebook group. It's pinned to the top of our regular Facebook page.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's it.
All right. I'm good.
All right.
Be excellent.
I'm good too. Be excellent to each other. Mm-hmm. All right. Love you guys.
Love you all. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.